Okay, good afternoon all of you. Any questions from yesterday's class? And please note that we are discussing about this limit state method, and it is required that you understand these concepts very well. So this is where we stopped last class. Neutral axis depth can be determined using the following equation. Okay, and how you got this equation? By equating the total compressive force to total tensile force. For equilibrium of section, total compressive force should be equal to total tensile force. So equating C, resultant compressive force, to the tensile force, which is nothing but 0.87 Fy times AST. So based on that, you get this equation. Okay, and please note that here it is written as XU by D. XU by D, it is only to make it dimensionless. Okay, to make it dimensionless, it is written as a ratio. Neutral axis depth you need to determine using this equation. Once you get the neutral axis depth from this equation for a given section, you need to compare with limiting value of this quantity, that is XU limit divided by D. XU limit divided by D, I explained to you in the last class how to get that. For a balanced section, from the strain distribution diagram, using properties of similar triangles, you can derive this equation, and if you rearrange it, it's going to be in this form. XU max or XU limit, in code in IS 456, it's written as XU limit, XU comma LIM, limit. Okay, XU limit divided by D or XU max divided by D, both are same. And if you see this equation, it's going to be a function of only the grade of steel. Okay, and I showed you where it is in IS 456. It's given in page 70. It's given in page 70. Here. Or here, sorry, here it is given as XU max divided by D, or in some textbooks or some other books, they usually write it as XU limit divided by D. Both are same. Okay, for a given type of steel, because that equation, if you have seen, it's function of only Fy. So if it is Fe 250 steel, Fy is 250. Fe 415 steel, Fy is 415. Fe 500 steel, then it's going to be 500 Newton per mm square MPa. Substitute that, you are going to get this one. You are going to get these quantities rounded off to the second significant digit. Okay, and now once you have this, whatever for a given section, you know the geometric dimensions B and D and the area of steel. You find this ratio and compare with that limiting or maximum value. If the value of XU divided by D is less than the limiting value, then it is under reinforced. That means your neutral axis depth is less than that is required for a balanced section. It is under reinforced. So your moment carrying capacity of a given section is going to be dictated by the steel. So total tensile force 0.87 Fy AST multiplied by lever arm. What is lever arm here? Lever arm here is D minus D minus 0.416 XU. Okay, let's see that. Okay, so if you substitute in that XU in terms of this one, XU, you have this equation, XU in terms of that, if you substitute, you can express moment of resistance or moment carrying capacity of a given section which is under reinforced in terms of steel in this manner. Okay, so this quantity D minus whatever is there in the bracket, that is nothing but your lever arm distance. And if the limiting value, if the value of XU divided by D is equal to the limiting value, then it's a balanced section. Then moment of resistance, either you can calculate using with respect to the steel or with respect to the concrete. If you want to calculate with respect to steel, wherever XU is there, you replace with XU max. Okay, we'll see that once again. But here directly in the code book IS 456 Annex G, it is given in terms of concrete. What is the total compressive force? 0.36 Fy XU multiplied by B and multiplied by the lever arm distance. And XU is same as XU max. So substitute XU is equal to XU max and then rearrange that equation slightly, you are going to get this form. Once again, we'll see this in detail in today's class, how this form is obtained. Okay, so it's nothing but for a balanced section with respect to concrete, what is the moment of resistance or moment carrying capacity of that section? And if XU divided by D is greater than the limiting value, that is XU max divided by D, the section should be redesigned. That's what limit state method says. Okay, section means you need to revise your dimensions of the beam. Why you need to revise this? Why it has to be revised? That you will understand if you go back and see your assumptions. Okay, first of all, why XU divided by D is going to be greater than the limiting value? It's going to be greater than the limiting value if either stress in steel is less than, or the maximum strain in steel, the maximum strain in steel, or the strain in steel is less than whatever is specified here in the limit state of collapse under flexion. We'll see that. Okay, also if the strain in concrete is greater than 0.0035, then this is going to happen. But code is limiting that strain in concrete in the extreme fiber in compression under flexure to value 0.2035. So let's understand this. So just to take a note of it, this one, if XU divided by D is greater than the limiting value, section should be redesigned. Why it has to be redesigned? Because it's going to violate our assumptions. So it's going to violate either this assumption, maximum strain in concrete at the extreme, at the outermost compression fiber is taken as 0.2035 in bending. So this is what the assumption, entire this limit state of collapse under flexure is based on this assumption. So you are going to violate this assumption. Your strain is going to be greater than this, which is not permitted. Either this may happen or this may happen. Maximum strain in tension reinforcement in this section at failure shall not be less than. So whatever strain, it should be greater than this value to ensure that steel yields. So if it is over reinforced, it may not happen. So that's why here in Annex G of IS 456, it's saying if XU divided by D is greater than limiting value, section should be redesigned. Okay. So let's go once again through all these things. Okay. So this,
let me just emphasize the concept of ductility. See, in the limiting state, since the section is about to fail, a ductile behavior means ability to deform, is always preferred. And this restriction of the steel strain to exceed that value is to make sure that the sections are ductile. Okay.
any questions at this stage? Any questions? So whatever I just explained to you orally, that is all what is depicted in these figures. If you want, take a note of it. This is a section, rectangular section. Dimensions are shown B and D. Area of steel, AST, and this is strain diagram. And this is a stress diagram. And whatever I just explained orally, that is all what is shown in this figure. This figure actually conveys that whatever explanation I gave just now, this figure conveys all that. Okay. If your XU is less than XU max, it's under reinforced section. If it is under reinforced section, what is going to happen? Your strain in steel, is going to be greater than whatever value here, 0.87 Fy divided by ES plus 0.202. Okay, so steel is going to dictate your capacity of the section, and this case is corresponding to the balance section, and this case is corresponding to over reinforced section. Strain in steel is less than this value. I'll hold on here for a minute. You please take a note of this figure. And if you have any,
let me just emphasize that we should always start with the strain diagram first. The strain diagram itself will help us to understand the type of section. From the strain diagram, we move on to the stress diagram.
any questions? Please take a note of this figure. Because subsequent whatever derivations or equations I am going to show, they are going to be based on this. Okay, please take a note of this figure. Here it's written strain distribution for various modes of flexural failure. Various modes in the sense whether steel is going to reach its limit first, or concrete is going to reach its limit first, or whether the section is under reinforced or a balanced section or over reinforced section. Okay. Okay, so let me move forward. So now for a balanced section, please note that you need to keep your code book at least open there, okay? Because otherwise it's difficult for me to go back and forth. So whatever equation we started today's class, that equation for a balanced section, if it is a balanced section, XU is going to be the same as XU max, and that equation is rearranged. AST is there, B is there. So divide on both sides or rearrange this equation. AST divided by B, and then you can write the rest of the quantities. And XU you replace with XU max. Instead of AST divided by B, you write it as AST divided by BD. And that is nothing but your percentage of steel expressed in this manner. And what we are looking at is for a balanced section, for a limiting case. That's why it's written as PT, percentage of tensile steel, limiting value, divided by 100. You please take a note of this equation. I told you to have SP16 with you. So we'll also look at SP16 now. Okay. Please take a note of this equation. And if this is PT limit divided by 100, PT limit can be written in this manner. And once you have all this information, you can prepare a table in like this, which is shown here. For different types of steel, for different grades of steel. If grade of steel is decided, then the yield strength of steel is known. If yield strength of steel is known, your XU max divided by D is fixed. And here the values are given up to 4 significant digits. And if your XU max divided by D, please note that this XU max is for balance section or for limiting case. If you know XU max divided by D, you can plug in this equation and get what is percentage of steel for a limiting case, which is nothing but for a balance section. Percentage of steel in terms of FCK and FY. Already FY is decided here. So now with respect to FCK, you can prepare a table like this for different grades of concrete in combination with the different types of steel. What is this limiting value of percent tensile steel? Okay, you don't need to take a note of this table. You take a note of this equations. Take a note of this equation, then automatically, if you code it in an Excel, you can actually reproduce this entire table. Okay. We are going to use these relations subsequent slides. Please take a note of these equations. If you have any questions, please let me know at this stage. And now let's go and see SP16. This is, I think, maybe earlier you referred SP16, but in today's class, you will learn more about that. Okay. SP16, directly go to, there are several sections here. Go to flexural members. First of all, what is this SP16? It is for all these codified equations for quick check or for quick calculations by designers. This is actually Bureau of Indian Standards came up with this one. That's why the title is Design Aids. Okay, but it's not for a learner. Okay, but still you need to understand how to use this, because if you want to cross check your result or your design, you can make use of this one. Okay, so whatever assumptions that we looked at under limit state of collapse, under flexure in page 69 or 68, 69, 70, they are given reproduced here, because this is design aids for IS 456. Those assumptions are reproduced here, and also you can see here this equation. Just now you noted what is this equation, and this equation for different types of steel, what is XU max divided by D, it is given here, and here it is given up to 3 significant digits, whereas in page 70 of IS 456 it's given only 2 significant digits. Okay.
Please note that in your reading assignments, the SP16 clauses are being mentioned. By the end of this course, we will be covering the full of SP16, and you have to be familiar with it to write the exam. You cannot start reading the SP16 during exam.
Okay. So table B is giving you XU max divided by D for different types of steels in SP16, page 10 or page 9, sorry, page number 9, or you can go to section under flexural members. Okay, it's not just we are going to use this page or something. We are going to use several tables and charts like no, at least when we are discussing on flexure, we'll see the corresponding tables and charts. Okay, and also with respect to the compression, concrete in compression for a balanced section, what is the limiting moment of resistance? For a balanced section, what is the moment of resistance? You take a note of this equation. This is very easy to understand this equation. Here points 36 FCK B times XU. XU is replaced with XU max because we are trying to find it for the balance section limiting case, and D minus 0.416 XU, or XU max is substituted in place of XU. So this is the lever arm distance. This is the resultant compressive force. Okay, so you take a note of this equation. Let me magnify a little bit. Take a note of this equation. And now you take D common out. Okay, take D out, then it's going to become 1 minus 0.416 XU max divided by D here. Okay, and also you can also here when you can also divide this with divide this XU max with D, divide this XU max with D, and then make it as BD square. Okay, and if you do that, that is what is given in your IS 456 here. So wherever XU max is there, you try to make it dimensionless, and by adding or dividing and multiplying with D, and you can bring that equation into this form. Okay, this is moment of resistance of a balanced section calculated with respect to concrete in compression. So now let's go to SP16 once again. And just now I told you to make a note of the percentage of tensile steel, limiting value of that for a balanced section. I just told you to make a note of it, and that whatever you noted, point or PT is equal to 41.16 here, 41.61 or 41.61 FCK divided by Fy XU max divided by D. This can be obtained, or this same thing can be, this equation can be rearranged and brought into that form. Okay, so these two equations are here. This is function of XU max. This is function of FCK and also XU max. XU max is function of the grade of steel. FCK is function of grade of concrete. So a table can be prepared. That is what is done here. So this is written. This is actually written as in a normalized form. Mu limit divided by BD square. Mu limit divided by BD square for different this one grades of steel. If it is Fe 250, what is this mu limit divided by FCK BD square, and Fe 415, Fe 500. And similarly, the limiting value of steel for a balanced section. What is the percentage of steel for a balanced section? That is written in a normalized form as a function of Fy over FCK. And please do one thing. Please do a small this one there calculation. What is XU max? What is XU max divided by D? What is XU max divided by D for Fe 250? It is 0.53. here. Just now we noted XU max divided by D. For Fe 250 it is 0.5313. You take a note of these values for different types of steel. XU max divided by D. For Fe 415, Fe 500. Okay. And once you have taken note of this, you do a small calculation and tell me what is 41.61 multiplied by this 0.5313. Similarly, 41.61 multiplied by 0.4791, and also 41.61 multiplied by 0.4560. You tell me those three quantities quickly. One of you take a lead and do that simple multiplication and tell me the values. So what is 41.61 multiplied by 0.5313?
$22.107.
Okay, please check whether that this is same. What is that? 21.97. It is close to that. 41.61 multiplied by 0.5313. And similarly, check this one and check this quantity. This is for Fe 415, Fe 500. You need to be quick, understand? And there may be some accuracy, means in the sense some rounding of errors may be there, because it depends on the significant digits that you considered. Okay. Is the values are matching or not?
Sir, the values are 0.1 less than calculated.
So it's slightly maybe, because we don't know exactly how many significant digits they used. Okay, when they came up with this table, but you can actually these whatever values you get, depending on the significant digits that you select, should match with this. Okay, so this mu limit normalized, mu limit divided by BD square, mu limit divided by BD square, or FCK BD square, that for different types of steel it is given here, and similarly limiting percentage of steel. And here you can see it is again function of Fy and FCK. It is again function of Fy and FCK. This is that quantity is expanded here. Percentage of tension reinforcement. Okay, for singly reinforced rectangular section. This is for a balanced section. For a balanced section, for different grades of concrete, different grades of steel, what is the percentage of tension reinforcement for a balanced section? That is what is reproduced here. That is basically coming from this equation. That is basically coming from this equation. Okay. Any questions? Anyway, you need to spend time. Okay. So now you noted this equation and this equation. Let me go further. And we also noted XU divided by D, you calculate, given a section, given the grade of steel, given the grade of concrete, you make use of this equation, or whichever is given in annexure G of IS 456, same equation is given. You calculate XU or XU divided by D. XU divided by D. So if you see this equation, This is nothing but actually rearranging this one. Okay, if you the grade of steel is known, then Fy is known, grade of concrete is known, FCK is known, area of steel if it is known, and section dimensions are known. You can calculate XU divided by D and compare it with limiting value. If it is less than that, then it is under reinforced section. So let's discuss further how to calculate the moment carrying capacity of under reinforced section. Anyway, Annexure G is already giving you the equation. Slight manipulation of that equation helps you to find the area of steel. Suppose the section dimensions are known, section dimensions are fixed, and the target moment is or the design moment is known. So you need to calculate area of tension steel. How to calculate area of tension steel? That is what we will be discussing now. Okay. So for under reinforced section, using force equilibrium, you calculate neutral axis depth. Same equation is given in Annexure G. Once again, if you want, you take a note of this. And if you know XU, lever arm is going to be D minus 0.416 XU. And you compare, if you want, you can compare this XU with XU max, or you normalize it XU divided by D and compare with XU max divided by D. And if it is less than that, then it is under reinforced section. So we are looking at under reinforced section. For under reinforced section, moment carrying capacity is going to be dictated by the tension region or steel. So MU is nothing but ultimate moment carrying capacity of this section. MU is equal to tension, total tensile force, which is 0.87 Fy times area of steel multiplied by the lever arm distance. Okay, take a note of this equation, because further, whatever equations you are going to see, it's a manipulation of this equation. There is a reason why I am asking you to take a note of this. So now this XU is there. This XU, in place of this XU, you substitute this quantity. Please note that your target moment or design moment is known, or if it is given to you, it is known. And whatever the grade of steel that you plan to use, if that is decided, then you know what is Fy. And section dimensions are fixed, then you know what is D. And XU is going to be obtained from this equation. Now substitute XU is equal to here. So everything is known in this equation except area of steel. And if you substitute XU in terms of this one, this quantity, if you substitute here, you are going to get a quadratic equation. You are going to get a quadratic equation in the area of steel. You need to solve that quadratic equation to get the area of steel. Okay, that is what, that manipulation is what is being shown here. You please take a note of this. Okay. If you want, you can write, you can divide this wherever AST is there, you divide and multiply with BD, and you can write this in terms of percentage of or PT divided by 100, or in terms of PT. Okay. So take a note of this equation. And now let's manipulate this equation further. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. AST divided by BD, wherever it is there, replace with PT divided by 100. Okay. Then you are going to get this equation. And now you can see this entire equation is quadratic in terms of PT. And this equation can be rearranged in this manner. And this can be written in this manner. it is clearly looking, it's a quadratic equation. It's of the form ax square plus bx plus c. And take the realistic roots, then you are going to get this equation. And you rearrange it. You take, at least you take a note of the last equation. I told you to calculate area of steel unit to solve a quadratic equation, but all that manipulation is carried out, and directly the percentage of steel, taking the realistic root here, taking the realistic root of this quadratic equation, percentage of steel is actually given in the form of an equation. You please take a note of that. This one. So what is the use of this equation? If the section dimensions are fixed, and if your design moment is known to you, and your grade of concrete is fixed and grade of steel is fixed, you can directly make use of this equation, get the percentage of steel. In SP16, same thing is also given. I will show you where it is given in the form of charts and tables. It is given. Before we end this class for today, you will come to know about it. Okay. So take a note of this equation PT. And if you want, you can write in terms of AST. PT is nothing but AST divided by BD multiplied by 100. So you can, if you want, you can write it in terms of area of steel. Instead of percentage of steel, you can directly get area of steel. So take a note of this equation. Or another intermediate quantity is defined. Another intermediate quantity is defined. In terms of that, this is rewritten. For completeness, please take a note of that as well. Okay, please take a note of that as well. In SP16, for different mu divided by BD square, this quantity, you see this mu is nothing but your target moment carrying capacity of the section. And once your section dimensions are fixed, you know what is BD. So mu divided by BD square, you can calculate. SP16 for different values of mu divided by BD square, for different types of steel and different types of concrete, or different grades of steel, different grades of concrete, once mu divided by BD square is known, this percentage of steel, tensile steel, is given in the form of a table. We'll see that. Also, it is given in the form of a chart. We'll see that. Okay. So let me go to SP16. Where it is given in SP16? Here. Or let me directly go and show you this one here. This is charts, and let's go to tables. Okay. Anyway, please note that beam or a slab. If you want to design, you design it is for unit width. Okay. Anyway, let's read this. The moments of resistance of slabs with bars of different diameter and spacings are given in table 5 to 44. Tables are given for concrete grades M15, M20 with 2 grades of steel. 10 different thicknesses ranging from 10 mm to 10 centimeters to 25 centimeters are included. Okay. Maybe let me show you otherwise this one. Table 1 to 4. Let me directly go there, then you will understand. Okay. Here you just open this contents, then you will understand, or directly you can jump to that table. So I'm opening table 1. Here table 1 to 4. Let's go to table 1. Whatever I just mentioned, what I just mentioned, if you find mu divided by BD square, that's going to depend on your target moment carrying capacity and the section dimensions you decided. Okay. Once you have that ratio, you read this one, reinforcement percentage, PT for singly reinforced sections. So PT can be obtained by looking at this table. So once you know mu divided by BD square, let me go to the slide. Once you know mu divided by BD square, only thing is you need to, once this value is known, you need to go to the, pick the corresponding table which corresponds to the grade of concrete and grade of steel. And depending on the grade of concrete, grade of steel, read the corresponding value to get the percentage of steel. So this equation is actually presented in the form of a table for designers' convenience. Mu divided by BD square for different types of steel. What type of steel or what grade of steel? Here, the grades of steel considered are 240. Steel with Fy is equal to 240, 250, Fe 415 or 415, 480, 500. For all these yield strength values of steel, you can make use of this table for what value of FCK. I think there is a print mistake here. It is written as FCK 25. It is FCK is equal to 15. Okay, there is a print mistake. FCK is equal to 15. So M15, for M15 grade of concrete for different types of steel, once you know mu divided by BD square, you can directly read from this table what is the percentage of reinforcement that is required. And please note that they are given at discrete values. Let me magnify. They are given at discrete values. You need to interpolate. In between values, you need to interpolate. Okay? And table 1 is giving for M15. Table 2 is giving for M20. Here it is again, that printing mistake is corrected. This is correct one. FCK is equal to 20. And table 3 is given 25, M25. Table 4 is giving M30. Let's see. I think this is different. Okay. So M15 to M30, they are given in tables 1 to 4 for different types of steel, different types of concrete. Okay. So this equation, whatever equation we have seen, that is presented in the form of a this one, tables. The same equation can also be presented in the form of charts. They are given here. Let me go and let's read that. Then we'll go to that. So charts 1 to 18 have been prepared by assigning different values to mu divided by b. Instead of mu divided by BD square, moment carrying capacity per unit width. Okay, and plotting D versus PT. So let's see this chart, how to make use of this chart. Singly reinforced section, please note that this is useful both for slabs as well as beams. So here you read this one, moment of resistance per meter width. So once you know the target moment or your the design moment, and once you decided the section dimensions, you divide that moment with the width of the beam, B, mu divided by B, okay? And that is what is actually here. Different curves are given for different mu divided by B, okay? And for different here, this is for Fe250 and concrete grade of FCK is equal to 15, that is M15. And the depth varying from 5 to 30 mm. Sorry, 5 to 30 centimeters, 5 centimeters to 30 centimeters. So how to read this one? So you calculate mu divided by B and pick the corresponding curve. And you know what is the depth of the section, effective depth of the section, D. And then once you know effective depth of the section, once the curve is picked, I think anyway, its highlighter is not working properly. Once a curve is picked, once the D is known, or once you know for a given section what is effective depth, you can read the corresponding percentage of scale. Okay, so this chart is given for Fy is equal to 250 and FCK is equal to 15. Let's see what about chart 2. Chart 2 is same, 250 and FCK is equal to same grade of concrete, same grade of steel, but the depth is increased. Depth is from 30 to 55, 30 centimeters to 55 centimeters. And table chart 3, again for more depths, okay? So similarly, what I suggest is you explore this. Fy is equal to 415. Now whatever we discussed is Fe250, Fe415 steel for M15 grade of concrete, D ranging from 5 centimeters to 30 centimeters is presented in table chart 4, and for other depths chart 5, chart 6, and chart 7 is presenting for Fe500. Okay, like that from chart 1 to chart 18. Chart 1 to chart 18 is actually presenting here. Chart 1 to 18 have been prepared by assigning different values to mu divided by B and plotting D versus percentage of steel. The moment values in the charts are in units of kilonewton meter per meter. That is mu divided by B, its units are kilonewton per meter, kilonewton meter per meter width, okay? Charts are given for 3 grades of steel, 3 grades of concrete, namely M15 to M20, which are most commonly used for flexural members. And let's complete this. Tables, I just showed you, table 1 to 4 covers a wider range, that is 5 values of Fy, different or 4 grades of concretes up to M30. So this is what is given in SP16. SP16 is design aids for convenience of designer. They are presented, instead of going through all these calculations, they can directly read from these charts or tables, whichever is convenient for them. Okay, and one example is also illustrated here. Some examples are illustrated, you can go through them. Okay, determine the main tension reinforcement required for a rectangular beam section with the following data: size of the beam, concrete mix or concrete grade is given, and reinforcement, Fe415 steel, and factored moment. Factored moment is nothing but your design moment. Factored moment is obtained by taking whatever dead loads, live loads, we are going to multiply with partial safety factors, and using that partial whatever values, those once you, let me show you that before we close in today's class for completeness. Let me go to page 68. of IS 456. Here, design loads. Design loads are obtained from the characteristic load multiplied by partial safety factor. What is characteristic load? Or whenever you see this word characteristic appended to either loads or material properties, same definition, not more than, not less than 5% of the test results or the whatever particular load shall not be less than that, not 5%, or 95% should exceed that value. Okay. So if you want, you can read this one. Characteristic, the term characteristic load means the value of load which has 95% probability of not being exceeded or 5% probability of not being less than, okay, during the service life of structure. So that is characteristic load. For design load is obtained by multiplying characteristic load with a partial safety factor. And what is the partial safety factor? For different types of loads, those values are given here, table 18. What is the partial safety factor for dead load? DL is dead load, IL is imposed load, and WL is wind load, EL is earthquake load. Okay, for different types of loads, what is the partial safety factor that you need to multiply? So once you estimate the loads, you multiply with corresponding partial safety factors, get the design loads. Making use of those design loads, once you estimate your moment, maximum moment coming on the beam, that is what is factored moment. Okay, that is what is factored moment. So such factored moment is given here. So this factored moment is the moment to which we are going to design the beam. So now coming back to this problem, here section dimensions are given, grade of concrete is given, grade of steel is given, what is the design moment that is given, okay, and here this section is given, this is overall section dimensions. Assuming some cover depth, you can find what is effective depth, and once you get based on the cover thickness, you can get the effective depth. Once you get effective depth, that is what you need to make use of in calculating mu divided by BD square or mu divided or this one effective depth. For looking at the charts, that effective depth you need to use. Okay, so here this example is illustrating how to look at these tables and charts. And this example here, it is actually illustrating how to make use of that tables. Okay, what I suggest is you go through this, and please note that SP16 is for checking your designs. We don't recommend you when you are learning a basic course, you need to go through regular calculations and then starting from the first principles and get the values of area of steel and other things, section dimensions. But for cross-checking purpose, you don't need to come back to us and ask whether my design is correct or not. You can cross-check your design using SP16. Okay, so before I close in today's class, so here this area of steel can be obtained using this relation. And before I close in today's class, we'll go through all this in next class. And here an example is given. You can try even this example. Okay, determine limiting moment carrying capacity of a reinforced concrete rectangular section. Dimensions of the sections are given, width of the section, effective depth of the section, and the area of reinforcement is given. And using M20 grade of concrete, Fe250 steel, you estimate its limiting moment carrying capacity of this section. How do you get this limiting moment carrying capacity of this section? First of all, you need to estimate XU, neutral axis depth. Neutral axis depth can be obtained using NXRG or whatever formula you noted. and compare that neutral axis depth with the limiting neutral axis depth. And if it is less than that, then you can assume it to be under reinforced. Accordingly, the moment carrying capacity, limiting moment carrying capacity has to be calculated with respect to the tension steel. Suppose XU is equal to XU max, then it is a balanced section. Still you can use the same equation, get the moment carrying capacity with respect to steel or with respect to concrete. If it is exceeding that, if XU is exceeding XU max, then you need to redesign the section. So you try this example, okay? Suppose instead of, in addition to this limiting moment carrying capacity, you are asked to prescribe what is the amount of load that I can place on this? What is the amount of uniformly distributed load that I can place on this beam? Then what, after getting the limiting moment carrying capacity, after getting limiting moment carrying capacity, you assume some support conditions. If support conditions are not given, let's assume it to be simply supported. Then maximum bending moment is WL square divided by 8. Equate this limiting moment capacity to WL square divided by 8. Similar to what you did in your previous problems, okay? So once you equate this limiting moment carrying capacity to WL square divided by 8, you can calculate what is W, UDL, uniformly distributed load over the beam, and that UDL is going to be the total uniformly distributed load. Please note that this whatever moment carrying capacity, from that if you calculate load W, that is going to be your factored load. Factored load. That factored load you need to divide with partial safety factor to get the design load. From that design load, you need to subtract your self weight of the beam. Since section dimensions are known, you can estimate the self weight and subtract the self weight, and whatever left out, that is what you can impose on this beam as a service load. Okay, you can also try example 2, which is whatever I explained to you now. Okay, so I'll stop here. Once we complete limit state design, at least for rectangular sections, what I suggest is whatever assignments you have, this assignment 2 and 3, which you have done for working stress method, you need to repeat with limit state method. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Sorry if I exceeded the time. Any questions? Professor Amlan, you want to add something?
My comment regarding the tables and charts is I would prefer the tables because the charts are a bit old. There the cover is small, which is not permitted at present, and M15 concrete is not allowed for structural concrete. And hence I would prefer that you use the tables. Okay.
Okay. Can you, sir, can you explain factored load again? Factored load is nothing but the characteristic load.
This we can pick up next time again.
Huh? What is that?
This is an important question.
Just let me complete.
This is a good question. I think we can pick up.
Okay. So factored load is nothing but service load multiplied by partial safety factor for loads which are given in table 18 of IS 456. Okay, for different combinations of loads, what should be the this partial safety factor that needs to be selected for arriving at the factored load. So factored load is service load. Service load are, let's take a beam. It may be having some self weight. That self weight is called dead load. You estimate that dead load using the section dimensions and also the length of this beam and also the density of the concrete. You estimate its self weight, and that needs to be multiplied with partial safety factor given in table 18 to get the factored load. So once you use that load and estimate the moment, then it's called factored moment. Okay. Any further questions? Can you please upload? Please note that this SP16 I am unable to upload. Okay. If you want, I'll share with you by Google Drive. Thank you.
Sir,
Uh,
sir, in table 18, it's given limit state of serviceability, and it's given for 3 different types of loads, sir. Means dead load and live load and something like that.
dead load,
So-
imposed load, wind load, different
Yes, sir.
combinations. And if you
Sir,
don't
so-
have, if you don't have other loads, you consider only partial safety factor corresponding to that particular load. Okay.
Sir, but
We will discuss about that table in the next class.
okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.